Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad-gītā ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Ram Sankirtan Yajna ki jai. So Hare Krishna, welcome everybody for today's session of a conceptual overview of the Bhagavad-gītā. So today we are discussing session number 5. We are discussing about Prakṛti or nature. Prakṛti direct meaning is nature, but in Bhagavad-gītā mostly it indicates material nature. But in today's session we'll also discuss material nature or material world as well as some glimpse of the spiritual nature or spiritual world. Okay. So where we are, so we finished importance of human life and how it's important for us to understand Bhagavad-gītā, which is a manual for human life, so we can optimally use our life. And also karmanubandhini manushaloke, so we can escape or rather negate the karma we already accumulated and do not create more karma. At the same time, we can actually go to the path of apavarga, which is liberation, so that we don't actually have to go through the cycle of birth and death. And we discussed the two concepts, Ishvara, his energies, how he's a supreme controller, well-wisher, and supremely lovable with the 5 rasas, everything. And also we discussed in depth about Jiva, and there were 2 categories of Jiva, one eternally Nitya Muktaha, eternally liberated and serving in the spiritual world. Nitya Baddhaha, all of us, we are here, eternally conditioned, and we are enamored by the material nature. But at the same time, there is a way the conditioned soul can become a liberated soul through the process of bhakti, beginning with the Shravanam. That's what we discussed last session. And today we are in Prakriti, material nature. So we have to understand our surroundings, our environment, and what it's made of, and what is the purpose of the creation, everything. So we can understand how to use it properly in our journey. Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss today. Okay, now connecting from previous session, we discussed about 2 categories of jivas, right? So this is the spiritual world, Vaikunta, Loka, and these jivas, even though they are vibhinnamshas, or they are tiny fragmental parts like all of us, they are eternally liberated, and they have fully used their free will to serve Vishnu or Narayana, in the spiritual world. But whereas all of us are being pulled by 3 modes of material nature, this is goodness, passion, and ignorance at every moment, and we are being conditioned to act in a certain way. Today, there will be a slide of how the modes condition us in certain behavior, so we can understand what modes we are being dominated mostly and things like that, and also see how we can elevate ourselves. Okay. So now in this, there is a contrast, right? This is all dark material world. There's a bright spiritual world. So that's what is today's discussion about the material nature. So the 2 worlds, it's also discussed here, like see, material world. There are many universes like this. They're all emanating from the breathing of Mahavishnu. Many universes like this, but that's just 1/4 of the creation. And 3/4 of the creation is actually self-effulgent Vaikunta planets, where Vishnu, Narayana, different forms, Kurma, Matsya, the Ayodhya planet is there, Sadashiva planet is there. In all these forms, devotees are eternally serving with love and devotion. Okay, and this the topmost planet is Goloka, where Krishna, with this gopis and gopas, is having eternal leela over there. So actually today we'll get a glimpse of the spiritual world also. Okay, so this is our spiritual world. Okay, so this is danger and this is green. No, we would rather go here. Okay, so that's what. Okay, let's begin. So we'll start with the dangerous part first, material world. Okay, so what does the material world consist of? Right, constituents of material world. So this is a verse. It's described as, this is the AI image for this. So I will read this. Then after that, I'll try to explain this a little bit. Okay. Bhumirapo nalo vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashthada. See, prakritihi, Ashtada means 8. There are 8 divisions of this Prakriti, material nature. Vinna means very variated ways. What are the 8 things? Bhumihi. Bhumihi means earth. Apaha means water. Here water. Analaha, fire. Agni, fire. Vayuhu, here air. Vayu, air. Kham is like basically ether or sky or akasha. Manaha, mind, is a subtle mind. Mind, intelligence, also is a buddhi, intelligence, and ahankara, ego. So this is that the whole universe itself is made of these elements, raw materials. But also our bodies is also has these 2 elements. So the first 5 are called gross elements, which we can see. For example, our body is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The fire is the digestion fire. It helps in digestion. Water, everybody says 70% of water in our body. And this body is mainly made of earth also, because that's why when we burn the body, it again disintegrates back into the earth, like that, and the bones, everything, right? All our body is made of all this. There are panchavayu for helping with prana, right? Breathing. That's how the pranayama, they regulate the vayu to have calmness in mind, and like that. And of course space is there between 2 atoms, between the bones, there is space. Okay, all this. So our bodies are made of these 5 gross elements, and there are subtle elements which nobody can see. All of us have mind. What does mind have? Mind is a repository of all the samskaras or the impressions we have received from millions of lifetimes. Like even though initially, let's say the child, when he's born, he doesn't know what is fire, what is this thing, right? But from the previous samskaras, previous lifetimes, he knows this is fire. If I touch, I will burn. Intuitively he knows. So this is all coming from the knowledge or the impressions from the previous life. That's a repository. It's just a storehouse of all the experiences we had, good and bad. Intelligence is, of course, sometimes it's contaminated and it tells us to enjoy the matter. But if the intelligence is trained from Shastras, Bhagavad-gītā, like that, then that can be a decision maker. This is a decision maker. It tells, okay, it seems tempting to eat more than 10 gulab jamuns, but it's not good for my health. I am not going to eat. So the mind and the tongue is pulling us to eat, but the intelligence can control and say, no, it's not good for me. I'm not going to do. And then similarly, ego. What is ego? Ego is basically the sense of I, right? What is the sense of I? In the conditioned stage, we think we are the body, and everything related to the body is us. If anything happens to our child or a car, anything also, it hurts us because it's our extension, me and mine, extension of my ego. But the real ego never goes away. The real ego is that I'm the servant of Krishna or Vishnu or Bhagavan, right? That is the real ego. And I relate with everybody as servants of Krishna and help them in their spiritual journey. So that's a real way to deal with each other. Okay. So everything has a positive or a Krishna conscious use and otherwise material use which binds us. Okay, clear, right? So far? Pani is okay, right? Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now, okay, Sheetal, okay. So now let's go to the other main important ingredient for the material nature, the 3 modes. This is very crucial. What are the 3 modes? It's called Sattvam, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay. Sattvam is goodness, Rajas is passion, Tamas is ignorance. Okay. सत्त्वं रजस्तम इति गुणाः प्रकृतिसम्भवाः निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो देहे देहिनाम् अव्ययम्. Okay, dehinam avyayam, dehe dehinam avyayam. So nibadnanti, see banda, right? In Telugu also we have like bandinchadu, we say, right? So it's badnanti means it binds us. What it binds? Gunaha, these 3. Guna means rope. Guna also means modes. That's why it's the same thing is given. So that's why this image, remember that image of the 3 ladies pulling. So the ropes they're pulling basically. And the 3 modes are Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And they're Prakriti Sambhavaha. So they are produced from the material nature. But the material nature consists of 3 modes. So these modes are always in competition with each other and trying to get domination above the soul, even though the soul is spiritual in nature. And then these modes are material because they are very powerful. It can overcome the tiny soul. That's the reason we are being entrapped. So I will briefly discuss what is the effect of each mode. And this is just a summary. Later on, we will have a session completely dwelling deeply into the three modes, because every action we can do can be in three modes, like the knowledge, renunciation, or charity, or what else, any happiness or work. All this can be categorized into three modes, and that nice we can present using charts, everything. There will be complete session detail about that. So this is just a brief overview of, or quick look into three modes. So first is mode of goodness here. So mode of goodness is pure, illuminating, and healthy. Okay, it's very like people in the mode of goodness like to learn, study more and more. They like to teach, like patana, patana, yajana, yajana. These are the symptoms of a Brahmana, or the characteristics of Brahmana. And jnana, and they do yajna and yajana, yajana. They do yajna and they teach other people or help other people do yajna. So this is the characteristics of Brahmanas. So mostly Brahmanas, philosophers, scientists, come into this category. So, but still it's binding. Seems like it's so good, right? To be in the mode of goodness. They're happy actually. There's a sense of well-being. They're very happy. They're happiest people in this world somebody can see. And they have clarity what to do, what not to do. They know exactly, if I turn this side, there are, like, bad people drinking there, I don't even want to go that side. So they can do foresee. They don't act whimsically based on their impulses. So they can thoughtfully they act. Everything is good, but the thing is it binds us into the attachment of happiness and knowledge. So they still want to be always happy, remain happy like that. And also there is a sense of I am better than others. That's a sense you have in the mode of goodness, because of which you try to look down on people and you cannot be compassionate. And of course, because of that, you'll get reactions. So this is the best mode in the three modes, but still that is also binding, because you always want to be in that stage, and this material world will not allow you to be happy all the time. So then you will end up being miserable sometimes. Okay. And the next mode of passion, this is most of the people are in this mode. It's about unlimited desires and longings. So even though I have one house, I want a bigger house. That person neighbor has a bigger car. So there is no limit actually. There's no limit to the end to the amount of money they can acquire. You'll not be satisfied. How much ever you have, it will not be satisfied, because you want more and more and more. And this they work hard day and night to make more money, just to keep the family happy, like that. So examples are, the kshatriyas or kings, politicians, and one who wants to keep the happy family also. It's considered in the mode of passion, because to keep the family happy, we need to work hard day and night, too much happy. Normal basic means we have to provide for the family, that's needed. But to over endeavor to just make the family itself all in all without any time for spiritual realization, we are wasting our human life. That's the reason this becomes like very intoxicating and entangling. People work like crazy, like early morning to night, and there is a commute, and there is no time hardly to breathe. Life just goes off. You cannot even stop at any moment to reflect and think where we are going, what we are doing, nothing. And there is restlessness. At the end of the day, we cannot even sleep. Some people take pills, even though they have all the money, all the buildings, everything, they cannot get sleep, because they're always anxiety. Somebody is going to steal my money. So they have to take a sleeping pill and sleep. And the mode of ignorance is born of darkness and delusion. For them, actually, what the goodness is completely opposite to the mode of goodness. What the goodness people think is good, they think it's bad. Goodness people, they like to rise early, take bath. And these people is like, oh, who will take bath early in the morning? I will take bath in the night and I will sleep. That's so. And some days I don't even take bath. So, and they like to be clean. What a goodness, these people are complete mess. Their house will be mess, their table will be mess, everything will be mess. That their mind is also like that. And they're too much into madness, laziness, and sleep. They cannot even get themselves up from the couch procrastination. You have to do this, but you cannot get yourself up to doing this. And there is confusion whether to do this, do not this, and there's discrimination, loss of discrimination. All the time you choose the wrong thing to do, and you end up in more trouble, like stealing or bad things, bad after money, again hard work, hard day and night. So this is like a donkey, right? Even though grass is everywhere, donkey carries so much weight, so that at the end of the day, the master will give it grass to eat. But it doesn't know everywhere on the path it has free grass to eat. So like that, these three modes are kind of binding us. It's very difficult. Once we are conditioned with the lower modes, it's very difficult to make ourselves come up. Actually, only the power of bhakti has the power to elevate us to higher mode. I remember when I took up Krishna consciousness, I did in, maybe I was in 23, like that. And I was working in Microsoft, right, in US. But by the time, of course, I was very young, so I had so much passion is there. But at the same time, my mind was so restless, agitated all the time. And I was told to chant. This will help you. When I chant, I can see I cannot even focus. I cannot be peaceful even for a second, because so much of karma, because of so much of mental disturbances, because of previous impressions. These things are pulling us down actually every minute. But gradually the process. So what happened once? I remember my mentor, he was doing the Shastri classes. So in the classes, they give chance to everybody to read, certain section of purport, like that. So when I got my chance, I was reading one time, and I was reading so fast, and he scolded me. He told, "So much in passion. Why are you reading so fast? No, read slowly, calm, just settle down and read." I was thinking, what can I do? This is how I am. My nature is like this. What will I do? I was thinking. But then gradually, after next year, again he came to teach us, rest of the 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gītā. And that time, he didn't scold me about this, but I had developed trust for him and with him, and I wanted to ask some questions in certain situations. How do I deal in devotional life? So I made a list of questions to ask him. With my husband, I went. He's a brahmachari. I went with my husband. I was going to the list. Oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. I was telling. He just looked at me. He didn't respond to each of them. He just told, your problem is you think you are better than others. He told like that. Then I was like shocked. Wow, what is this? He suddenly is directly attacking. For a minute, I couldn't take it. My ego is like, oh, how dare he says this? But then finally I took it, and then I understood, and then I was like, okay, I have to work on it. But one thing I reflected was, okay, I made improvement from passion. Now a little bit I got in a mode of goodness. I'm thinking I'm better than others, but now I should be careful. I don't commit offenses, and then I can go further ahead. So we can see this process is very effective. That's the only very effective process which can help us come to higher level. Okay, that's a summary of the modes. Okay, so now coming to other characteristics of this material world. So this is another shloka. This is all our 14 planetary systems within a universe. Okay, within the universe there are 14 planetary systems. This is a Bhumandala. Okay, that is where there's a small globe here. That is our it's a globe actually. It's our Earth planet. But this is a whole plane is there. Bhumandala, there are a lot of this Meru Parvata, and there's more lot of description is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto. And there is a lower planets. These are called hellish planets actually. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. Okay, Rasatala. And there are these are more like it's full of darkness. The sun rays don't even enter here, full of completely dark. But of course, there are some snakes, everything, because of the jewels, it gets illuminated sometimes. You can see, right? The sun, this whole plane is blocking the sunlight to come down. These are kind of like a kind of, like what to say, cave, or rather pit hole. In the pit hole, these planets are situated. And then above that are the higher Swargaloka, basically. Swar, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, and Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. These are all 14 planetary systems, but all of them within this, anywhere you are, Jiva, it gets appropriate body for sure. But once the karma is exhausted in the higher planets, we have to come back to the human planet again. Then you do the karma, and based on good karma, you accumulate again, either go to higher. If it's bad karma, you go lower, like this. And again, finish all the karma, then again come to the Bhumandala again to get a chance to create new karma. So that's why karmanubandhini manushya. Only in this realm we generate new karma. In up and down, we are exhausting our karma. That's it. So this is a chance for us. Now that we are all humans, we can actually make a difference in our journey. Okay. So what this verse in Bhagavad-gītā is saying is, Brahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. He is telling us, Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha. Starting with Brahma Loka, Bhuvana Loka, all these lokas are Punaravartino Arjuna. Whoever goes there, they will come back. That's what he's telling. Punaha Avartinaha. They're all lokas where people have to go back and come again. O Arjuna, Mamupetya, if you reach me, Mam means me. If you reach me too, but Kaunteya, O Arjuna, if you reach me, Punarjanma na vidyate. There is no Punarjanma for you. So he is telling what's the problem, and he's also telling what's the solution. The solution is to somehow reach Krishna, and we cannot reach Krishna because he's supreme pure. Unless we are supreme pure, we cannot reach him. And also to develop love for him. Otherwise, what will we do in the spiritual world? Everybody is serving Krishna with full of love, and we go there and create problem there. So we need to develop that love so we can be eligible to be there back with him. And he gives another titles. There are titles also given this material world. It's a Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam, it's an abode of misery. Ashashvatam, it's temporary. As the Mahavishnu breathes in, all these universes disappear. When he breathes out, they get created. So obviously this whole universe, including Brahma, is all going to die. Everybody have to die. Unless he becomes pure and he ascends to the spiritual world. Right? So if at all we still have a hope that we can be happy in this material world, by hearing this, we should at least, it should give us a shock, or rather it should give us a waking call. Like, actually, I will never find happiness in this world. If you are convinced with that, that's a great achievement actually for this series. Because then we can think about where is the real happiness and how to go there. But if you are still hoping that there is somewhere I could get happiness, then we can still try to find it, and maybe in some lifetime we'll exhaust. And then Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. After many, many lifetimes, one who is in knowledge surrenders unto me as everything. Such a great soul is very rare. So we may take some lifetimes, no problem. Then other thing is Anityam Asukam Lokam. He says this Anityam, again temporary, Asukam. There's no happiness this world. In this world, there's no happiness. So he is the manufacturer of the thing. So he is giving titles for the product he created, right? That is meant to be miserable. It's everywhere. Unless you have an art to use all the resources in devotional service, and you can be Jivan Mukta, you can be happy even in this life. That's what we discussed in the last session. Okay. So that is a sum and substance of the material world. Now the question is, if you are enough scared about the material world, now I can slowly help you come to the solution. So how do I transcend, or how do I, while staying, go above, or how do I eventually come to the spiritual world? That's the question. The first practical thing Krishna says is tolerate. Okay. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama payino anityas tam titikshasva bharata. Tan, what tan? The things, tan means them. What are they? The shita ushna sukha dukkhadaha. Whatever is in the material world is giving us happiness and giving us misery, tolerate them. When happiness comes, don't get too elated. When misery comes, don't get too depressed. Stay neutral, stay equipoised. One of our further session will be on how to remain equipoised. Later will come. So be equipoised and tolerate them. And then they are like seasons, like Shitaha, like winter season, and Ushna, summer season. They come and go. Happiness will also not be temporary, and this misery also will not be temporary. Everything will come to pass. You know, so only difference is happiness is initially brings happiness, but while going away, it brings misery. Misery initially brings misery. While going away, it becomes gives happiness because you get rid of the distress. Okay, but ultimately, it's just a other side of a coin. That's all. There is nothing permanent. There's nothing satisfying to the soul. Okay, so these are all happening because of the contact with the material senses. Just that the senses are becoming happy, but nothing is happening to the soul. So it is like, so they come and go. Agamaha, apayinaha. They come and go. So you just tolerate, titikshasva, tolerate them. That's what Krishna is telling. So we can read, these are little bit difficult verses, so I have put the translation also. We can take turns and read. Vaniji, you can read the first one.
Translation. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O Shyon of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Okay. So another example Prabhupada gives in the purport is that, like for example, just because it's too hot in summer, the mother will not stop cooking because she has to stand near the fire. It's even more hot. Okay, why should I cook now? It's a summer. Does she do that? No. And just because it's too winter, too cold, somebody will not say, okay, I'll not take bath now. Earlier days, people used to go to the rivers and take bath. Even then, even it's cold, they used to do. Now we have heaters, everything. It's different. But they don't give up their duty just because it's hard for their body. That's what it means to be tolerant, that we don't give up our duty. We continue our duty of being parent, mother, daughter, and studies, whatever it is, continue, and don't get too affected by either of them because they're all anyway temporary. That's what it's telling. Tolerate. Practical thing is tolerate. And other thing is to finally to raise above is to surrender to the master who created these modes in the first place. दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते. So he is only telling Daivi, this is a divine energy. You on your own you cannot overcome. Duratyaya, you cannot overcome. Maya, see this Mama Maya Duratyaya. It's my energy. He is only telling my energy. He's as powerful as Krishna, that much powerful is his Maya. You can imagine. Duratyaya is difficult to overcome because it's Gunamayi. It has the three modes and it's very powerful. But there is a clue. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Whoever surrenders to me, Mayam etam tarantite. I will allow them to cross. So how it happens is because he is the boss of the material modes. So when we surrender to that's all I have. I have an image. Here you go. So, for example, these are the three modes. As I told, they're pulling each of us. They're binding us, as I said, goodness, passion, ignorance. Binding us, pulling. We think we are doing independently, but actually, all the time, modes are only making us do certain things. Suddenly, out of nowhere, we become angry and shout. We think, hey, why did I do this? I don't do like that normally. Why did I do this? We think because the modes are pulling us to act in such a way. And of course, we take responsibility for our actions, everything. But then, because it's his energy, Krishna is the ultimate boss. So when the soul surrenders to Krishna, then slowly, slowly, he is actually getting loosened. The grip is getting loosened. So, for example, today only I was discussing with my husband. Like we have a MA classmate here staying with us. She's come to Sringeri for visit as well as to get our association. So we can see actually she's so much in anxiety. For small things, she gets overworked. Like for example, she went 3 days to some like some temples nearby, and she got a lot of prasadam. So almost 6 hours, she put different types of prasadam on the table, and she's scratching her head, figuring out how to sort it out. And she's spending 3 hours, 4 hours on that. We were thinking, why she's doing like this? It's nothing, why she has to spend so much time on this? But that is the biggest problem for her at that time. So then I understood the more, we are on our own, then obviously we are influenced by the modes, and we are basically jailed, actually we are restricted. But the more we surrender, become completely dependent on Krishna, we'll be given full freedom. Like for example, Narada Muni, he can travel anywhere. He can go to Vaikunta, he can go to Kamsa, he can go to all the demons also. Everywhere he can go and talk to everybody. How free he is. So like that, the more we surrender, the modes will not affect us anymore. We can actually make a decision. I want to do this, and that will happen. Nobody can stop it. Of course, things will happen here and there, but the devotee has determination to continue his service irrespective of whatever happens. So that's how the point works. We have to surrender. Surrender means essentially love. Actually, surrender means it feels like forcing somebody. No, but out of love, we kind of start loving Krishna. Then he will help us go above the modes. Okay, so the next one, see here it says taranti. Taranam means actually to swim. So we are drowning in this material ocean, and he is allowing us to swim across. So for that, there is a very nice shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, which gives the same concept. So I will try to sing. समाश्रितये पदपल्लवप्लवम् महत्पदं पुण्ययशो मुरारेः भवाम्बुधिर्वत्सपदं परं पदं 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 यद्विपदां न तेषाम्. So this is this Bhavambudhi, it's ocean of Bhavasagara. This ocean of material world is considered like an ocean. Material world is considered like an ocean where you're going through the cycle of birth and death. So that gets converted into Vatsapadam. It gets converted into the hoof print of a calf. Vatsa is a calf. Calf ante the baby cow. So it becomes as small as the water which can hold in the hoof of a calf. The whole Bhavasagara becomes so small for one who takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So this is a very nice image. Oh, the image will come next. So this is the explanation of this. So basically what he's telling is, see, Pada Pallava Plavam, his lotus feet, the whole lotus feet are like Pallava, like fresh leaves. So that indicates the tenderness as well as the orange nature, orange color, reddish lotus feet. That is like a boat. Pada Pallava Plavam. Plavam is a boat. So whoever Samashritaha, whoever takes shelter of his lotus feet, Mahatpadam, that lotus feet is Mahatpadam, means is the shelter of all pure devotees. Like Narada, everybody takes shelter of those lotus feet. And Punya Yashaha, they're full of pious and fame, piety and fame. The lotus feet. Everybody is, everybody knows what happens if one takes shelter of Krishna lotus feet, that one can transcend the modes and come to spiritual world. Murare of Krishna who killed the demon Mura. Then what happens? Parampadam, he reaches Vaikunta. Parampadam is highest destination, Vaikunta. But for example, he will not be experiencing Vipadam, danger in this world. Where is Padam danger? There's Padam Vipadam. There every step, Padam means every step. Every step there is a danger in this world. So his goal, his destination will be Parampadam, Vaikunta, but he will not experience danger in this world. That's what this shloka is telling. Okay, so somebody can maybe, okay, but I think I summarized it. I will leave it for you to read it later because I think otherwise we will run late. I summarized the essence, right? So basically the water, the ocean of the material world becomes as small as the water of the calf's hoof print. And as if like we are drowning, and if somebody gives us a boat, what will happen? So that boat is nothing but lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, so that's the essence of this. Otherwise, this material world is a danger at every step. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So this is a very nice image describing this whole shloka. So this is like an ocean of Kali-yuga, very dark, and there is thunders are striking us every point. These are the three miseries everybody has to go through. Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik. Adhyatmik means miseries experienced through one's own body, mind. Even though we ate nicely, our hunger is satisfied, our mind is always disturbed and it's always bothering us, right? Then Adi Bhautik is miseries caused by other living entities, like mosquitoes will bother us, or sometimes our kids don't listen, or something happens, or somebody steals our money, like that. Adi Daivik is miseries caused by material nature. There will be thunderstorms, or there is wars, or of course wars is human-made, but it's a collective karma. If everybody is affected, then there is sometimes earthquake, there is a volcano eruption. All these are caused by material nature. Everybody has to face this. But these are the three kleshas, but when somebody takes shelter of Vishnu or Narayana or Krishna, then that whole material ocean is only become so small that he can easily cross over. He can easily cross over when he takes the lotus feet as a boat. What does it mean to take the lotus feet as a boat? Means to begin to serve the lotus feet through the 9 process of bhakti. Bhaja sevayam. Bhakti is not coming from the dhatu. Bhaja. Bhaj. Bhaja sevayam. Bhaj means to serve. What is the service? Loving service through Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. The start beginning with hearing that we are already doing. Then gradually one can reach the Vaikuntha where there is no misery and there is happiness all the time. Okay. So now we are already, this previous slide gave a clue into Vaikuntha planet. So now we'll go a little bit further into the positive spiritual world where we want to, where we can, hopefully it's like advertisement. It is giving advertisement. Oh, please come here, please come here. Supreme destination is described in Bhagavad-gītā only. Krishna is saying, Avyaktokshara ityukta tamaho paramam gatim yam prapyana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. See, again Krishna is telling, yam prapya, yam nama, that gatim, that highest destination. Once you reach, na nivartante, again you don't have to come back. Tadhama paramam mama, that abode is my that's paramam, my abode. That my abode is paramam, supreme, it's telling. And how is it? Avyaktaha. It's described as in the iti ahuhu. Here it says iti ahuhu. People, the Vedantists describe this as avyaktaha, unmanifest. Means we cannot see with our material eyes. Aksharaha means it doesn't fall. The material world, as I mentioned, as the Vishnu inhales, material world disappears. But whereas this supreme abode doesn't undergo any changes. There is no birth, there is no death there. Whoever goes remains there eternally. The eternally conditioned soul becomes eternally liberated soul. Right? Param Gatim. Okay, that's the thing. And there is a translation for this also. But you can read it again. So basically, Vedanta is described as unmanifest, infallible. It is Param Gatim, supreme destination, and place from which, having attained, one never returns to the supreme abode. So all we have to do is work hard to go there. After that, that's it. We don't have to come again. That's what promise Krishna is giving. And at the same time, he told in Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartina Arjuna. He told this whole material creation, there is always coming back. And at the same time, he told in spiritual world, once you come here, there is no coming back. So it's very clear what is what. Okay. So now another way in Bhagavad-gītā 8.20, he describes the spiritual world also as Paraha, transcendental, means supreme, spiritual. Right? It's not, see, what is the difference between material and spiritual? Material things undergo 6 transformation. There is a birth, there is a growth, there is producing byproducts, there is dwindling or diminishing, and there is destruction at the end. And it remains for some time. So, asti, vardate, and like this, Sanskrit terms are also there. See, anything which goes through these 6 things, that is material. But whereas our soul, for example, is eternal, right? It doesn't undergo any change. Similarly, spiritual world doesn't undergo any change. So it's transcendental, it's unmanifest, sanatana, eternal, and na vinashyati. It's not destroyed. Okay? It's very clear. That is our spiritual world. So now once we have the spiritual world, let's see what is our Lord doing in the spiritual world. There are 3 verses from Brahma Samhita, which describes very beautifully what Krishna is doing. At the end, there's a picture accumulating all these 3 verses. So I'm just going to read these verses. You can relish, and then later I will describe each of them also, and then later we'll see the picture. Okay. Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha lakshavruteshu surabhira bipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambhrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this is spoken by Brahma himself. So when the Brahma is born on the lotus flower, everything was dark. Then he got indication he has to do tapasya. After doing tapasya, Krishna gave him the knowledge by making him hear the flute sound. Through that, he gave him Gayatri and he initiated him, and he also gave him what is his service. His service is to create this planetary systems and give bodies for all the living entities so that they can pursue enjoying this material world. At that time, he had a vision of what Krishna is doing in the spiritual world. And how is the spiritual world? That's what he's describing in Brahma Samhita. So what he's telling is Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu. Sadmashu means abodes. So he is dwelling in the abodes, or the place where many groups of Chintamani stones are there. Chintamani are touchstones. Whatever you ask them, they can give. It's like that. There are many there. The houses and the walls, everything is made of touchstones, transcendental touchstones. And Kalpavruksha Lakshavruteshu, surrounded by lakhs of Kalpavruksha trees. Kalpavruksha trees are also like that. Whatever we ask, they will give. So they don't have to work hard, to make food, everything, but still out of love for Krishna, they will make with their own love. But if suppose they want a certain dress or certain ornaments, they go to the trees and the trees will give them for them. Surabhir, and with lot of cows, they're called cows. Abhipalayantam, Krishna is he is actually herding the cows. That is his job. Krishna is taking care of the cows. That's why it's called Govinda or Gopala. Okay, and Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam. There are millions, Sahasra, thousands, Shata, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis are with reverence or with respect, with love, Sevyamanam. He is being worshipped or taken care or protected. So in the spiritual world, Krishna is the center. Okay. That's why in this world, we also have the tendency, we try to become center in our lives. And like this, every house, everybody is trying to become center. And the conflicts happen because two centers are colliding with each other, right? The son wants to be center, mother wants to be center. And it doesn't work. The waves collide and they fight. But if everybody makes Krishna center of the life, then there is no collision. Then everybody will be happy. That's the whole thing about bhakti. Okay, Govindam Adi Purusham, the original person. Tam aham bhajami, I worship him. So this is again translation. So you can maybe take a screenshot and read it also later. But I explained the concepts here, right? All the things like that. Okay, so now we'll go to the next verse. Venum kvanantam aravinda dalayataaksham barhavatam samati asitam buddha sundarangam barhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So what is Krishna doing? Venum kvanantam. He is playing his flute. And how are his eyes? Aravinda dalaya taksham. Aravinda dala means Aravinda is lotus. Dala is the petal. Lotus petal. And ayata means very fully opened, fully bloomed. Aksham, his eyes. His eyes are like fully bloomed petals of a lotus. Like fully bloomed lotus petals basically. And barhavatam, tamsam. So atamsam means decoration on the crown, like barha, peacock feather. So he put a peacock feather on his crown. And asitambuda, so he has a bluish hue color, is tinged or is decorated with bluish color of the ambuda, of the rain cloud. Sundarangam, and his body is very beautiful. His limbs are very, very beautiful. And how beautiful! Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. So he can enchant millions of cupids. Kandarpa is a cupid, or the Madana. Madana, he can enchant the Madana also. That much beauty he has. Kamaniyam is very, very lovely to look at. So that's why he is called Madana Mohana. Krishna is called Madana Mohana. So Madanam api mohayati. So he can even enchant the Cupid, who enchants the whole world with attraction for the opposite sex. So that Cupid can also get enchanted with Krishna, right? That's so much beauty he has. Such a Govinda I worship. That's what Lord Brahma is telling. And again, this is the verse for this. So his blooming eyes like lotus petals, right? And head decked with peacock feather. Okay, and tinged with hue of blue clouds. And you see, unique loveliness is charming millions of cupids. We describe this. So now we'll go to the last verse. आलोलचन्द्रकलसद्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नाङ्गदं प्रणयकेलिकलाविलासम् श्यामं त्रिभङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So Alola means it's swinging. What is that? Chandraka Lasad. Chandraka is a moon locket. So he's wearing a moon locket chain which is swinging to and fro as he walks. Lasat is decorated or is being illuminated by Vanamalya, forest garland, which is made of 5 forest flowers. That's why Krishna's another name is Vanamali. And Vamshi Ratnangadam is holding a flute as well as many jewels are decorating his body. Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasam. What is he doing? Pranaya, loving Keli, loving sports, Kala. That is activities he's doing. Vilasam. He's enjoying loving sports with his devotees, girls, boys, cows, everybody. That's all. The job description of God is that he enjoys. He's a supreme enjoyer. There's nothing to do there. Shyamam, so he's bluish black in color. Tribhanga Lalitam, he's bent in threefold places, and Lalitam is very, very wonderful to look at. Niyata Prakasham, eternally is illuminated. There is like this. So that Govinda I worship. I worship the Govinda, the primeval Lord, around whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with moon locket, whose 2 hands are adorned with a flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in the pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shyam Sundar is eternally manifest. So eternally there, Niyata Prakasham. So that is our Govinda. So now comes to the image, Govinda and Goloka, some images, whatever we have described. So this is our spiritual world, where all the houses are made with Chintamani gems. There's so many Kalpavriksha trees, which can give us whatever we want. And it's served by, it's a Govinda, right? He has a lot of cows. His job is to take care of cows. Not job, actually. He loves to take care of the cows. And then, there are millions of gopis always serving him. And through his service, they also get satisfied. And like that. And there are boys, cowherd boys also. Like this. And then he has garland. This is Vanamalya garland. There is earrings and there's a peacock feather. He's Vamshi holding a flute, and he's bent in 3 places, right? Here one, and here one, and his head one. 3 places he's bent. Shyama Sundar is bluish, dark in color, right? That's what is our spiritual world. Okay. So then, and lotus, like in his eyes are like blooming eyes are like lotus petals, right? That's what we described. So now some more images here. This is also Govinda. He's coming from the forest after taking care of the cows, playing his flute, enchantingly is coming. And very nice verse is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes this. Barhapidam Natavarapu Karnayo Karnikaram Bibhradvasah Kanakakapisham Vaijayantim Śyāmalā Randranveno Radharasudaya Apurayan Gopavrindair Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti. So it's described that Krishna is entering the forest and his footprints are making the whole Vraja very, very auspicious. He's wearing a peacock feather and is filling the holes of the flute with this nectar from his lips. And, and then all these cowherd boys are singing his glories from behind. And Natavara Vapu, and his body is like a best of the dancer. He's like walking with the gait of a dancer. That's how he's entering Vrindavan, and seeing him, all the gopis are waiting whole day that they couldn't see him, and they rush out of their houses just to catch a glimpse at Govinda. So this is Krishna and Balarama and all the Gopas and cows coming back from the forest. And this is our Govinda. Another picture of bluish black Govinda. Right? Threefold bended form, playing flute and wearing peacock feather like this. So there's nothing miserable in the sense, as long as we get the clue how to reach here, we should think our life is successful. At least now we are one step closer to coming to the supreme destination. Right? There are many people here, they don't even come this far. They don't even know what it is, right? So we are, in that way, we should feel we are very fortunate that we are being receiving this knowledge, that there is a abode which is full of happiness, which is completely different from the material world where there is full of misery here. Right? So our aspiration while in this world is somehow maintain the body and soul together, but then our focus should be on how to develop that love so that we can again be with Govinda. Okay, so what we discussed is today, material world we discussed, it consists of Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, Kamara, Buddhi, Revacha. And the characteristics, there's always birth and death going through there. And also is Dukkhalaya, Ashashvatam, Anityam, Asukam, Lokam. How do we transcend? First, we begin with being tolerant with the things, like how the summer and winter seasons we tolerate. And then afterwards, we surrender to the master by Daiviyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mamevaye Prapadyante. So we surrender. Then Krishna starts taking care of us, involving in our lives, helping us at every step. Then after that, we discussed about spiritual world. Krishna also said that Vaikunta Parampadam. So then we need to know what is that spiritual world. So we get a small advertisement for spiritual world. So we discussed a little bit about, it's Aksharam, Avyaktam, and Param, Paraha, and also what are the characteristics that, of this, or these are the characteristics, and also what does our Govinda do in the spiritual world? What does he do all day? He'll just be playing. He's a supreme enjoyer. He'll be playing and serving him. Everybody experiences highest happiness and satisfaction. And Krishna makes everybody feel special. Don't think, oh, there are so many people serving and Krishna is alone, so maybe I'll be lost. Krishna has a way to uniquely reciprocate with each of us, that we all feel very special. How we treat Krishna as special, Krishna makes us feel special. That all of us will feel Krishna only loves me. All the Gopas and millions of Gopas, they sit around Krishna and eat lunch, but they all feel Krishna is only looking at me, Krishna is only watching me, Krishna is only laughing at me, Krishna is giving full attention only to me. So that's how, because we are fully devoted to serving Krishna as our life and soul, Krishna also reciprocates like that. He has the ability to do that, and he has the love to do that. Okay, so that is our Krishna. So now that ends the presentation. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So we can open up for any questions or comments anybody has.
Yes. So Śyāmalā ma'am, this is in other religions also. This part of staying neutral is very important. Whether you're sad or happy. And I'm glad I've come again to this part. I wanted to ask a question to you. You being an expert, okay, because you have really been into this journey for a long time. So when you get upset, it could be a fight with your husband, it could be something not going well, or you have to earn money, or something wrong going in your work. I know we have to chant Krishna and we have to, stay neutral. But we are restless at that time. Very restless. I'm going to say we can't even think of Krishna. Only when you're happy, I feel I can think and give gratitude when I'm happy. But when I'm sad, I can't think. I think everything is going wrong. I know we need to be a servant of Krishna. We need to be really loving. We have to do all our duties. But what do I do at that time when I'm in so much of distress and restlessness?
Yeah, so it's a practice, see, as I told, right, my own experience, initially when I was chanting, right, I could see, my mind is so disturbed, and, it takes some amount of purification for us to have control over our emotions and be able to overcome that emotions. See, for example, I will tell you, like many things happen, like in the sense we will come to a point where we can choose our reaction. But still, of course, I still make mistakes. Sometimes, I will be pushed to some extremes. I make mistake, but at the same time, I regret. I realize, oh, I shouldn't have done this. And then I again go back to Krishna or say sorry to people or whatever it is, and I move on. See, we cannot be perfect at the day one. It's a journey. But this journey will give you the tools to come there based on how we take it up, right? See, for example, hardly, maybe normal husband wife would have probably fought maybe 10 fights per day. But my husband and myself both are into devotional life, and our focus is very clear. I keep myself busy doing classes, everything. He keeps himself busy. We eat together, we do everything together, and hardly any, we don't have anything to contend upon. You see what I'm saying, right? It happens gradually. Like this. And then other thing is, I will tell you one example. This Arjuna, see, Krishna spoke whole Bhagavad-gītā to Arjuna, correct? To tell that you fight, correct? And then Arjuna got convinced. Initially, Arjuna said, I will not fight because it's all my friends, my relatives. I want to give up the war, like that. But then he understood. Krishna convinced, Krishna showed the knowledge, and he told him, now you do whatever you want. Yatechasi tata kuru. Then Arjuna said, okay, all my doubts are gone. I'm going to fight. So I don't need to worry about my friends, relatives. This is my duty. I will do. He did. But what happens afterwards? Krishna was right there, but his own sons died. Correct? The 5 Upapandavas got killed by Ashwatthama. And then Arjuna has all this knowledge, but he starts crying. Then Prabhupada mentions in that comment, it's very natural for a devotee. First of all, he's a devotee. He's soft-hearted already. And his own children, obviously, he's going to cry. So crying is not a weakness. The thing is, despite going through this emotional trouble, he never gave up his duty to Krishna. So that is the test. It's not about we go through emotions. We may be anxious. We may be sad. We may be upset. But are we giving up the duty? See, whatever the duty you have taken up of chanting one round or whatever, right? So whatever happens, if we keep on doing that, that means we are slowly coming to that level of raising above the modes. Understand, right, Sheetalji?
Yes,
Yeah, it doesn't mean we don't go through ups and downs. Even if we go through, we keep up with that minimum commitment in devotional life. And that commitment gradually we will increase, right? Where that is only going to give the strength, and that will only going to make us less, the waves, initially the waves are like this, too high and too low. Gradually the waves will become little high, little low, little high, little low, and then it becomes stable. You understand, right? So,
got it.
Yeah, so emotions we go through, but we should not let them overpower us. Even if it's happiness, you're thinking sadness only will make you miserable. But sometimes suddenly you got a lottery or whatever, or some big event happens in your house which you're waiting for so many years, then maybe you'll forget that day to chant also, right?
Yes,
So,
yes. I agree to that. When we are very happy at work also, we will just not do extra work, but that we have to do. We'll forget it. It's we finished today, we are done with it. So,
yeah.
Got it. Got your point. Got it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a journey. It takes it takes time. Yeah. Okay. So Sujata, Vani, Bharati, anybody has any other comments? Sarma, Garimalla. Yeah, Sujata.
So see, we knew that Sri Krishna took incarnation as a Sri Krishna, Lord Vishnu took incarnation as a Sri Krishna, and in Dwapara Yuga, and that was the time gopis were there. They were worshipping Sri Krishna. So even now, from today's class, I understood that there is a different spiritual world where still Sri Krishna with the Gopika and Gopis still exist. Is that true?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So actually you missed the 2 sessions about Ishvara. Maybe you didn't catch up with the recordings also. So
No. I have gone through those videos.
Yeah. Okay. So there it's very clear that basically the original form which is accepted in Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna actually. So he expands as Vishnu's, and then after that again he descends to the material world. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But whatever it is that that he has a separate planet, Goloka planet, where whatever is described here is given. But there are Vaikuntha planets also, Narayana form, Vishnu form, whoever worships in awe and reverence, those are those planets. And there is Ayodhya Dham for Lord Ram. There is and Hanum, like that. And then there is a maybe next class I will try to get a picture of full spiritual world, all the planets, everything. Then I will explain a little bit. Okay.
Okay. And one more query, generally, ego means we always refer to superiority complex. So that time, most of the people will have superiority complex. They will look down other people. They always think that they are greater than those. And that time, for that one, generally, how to get rid of that feeling and how to surrender ourselves to Lord Vishnu, that kind of we always hear. But there are people with inferiority complex also. For example, nowadays there are many mental issues because of guilty feeling, inferiority complex, and for doing something wrong in the past, or for not taking the correct action at the correct time. So that kind of how can people cope up with deal with that kind of emotions, feelings.
Yeah, so one thing, the way people lose time is either people are always thinking about the past or they're dreaming about future and they lose the present. That's what happens. So we should catch ourselves whenever we are thinking about, of course, one time we should reflect if there is any past incident. One time we should reflect and realize, okay, I made a mistake, and write it off somewhere and leave it. Because now we are given the current present in our current hand. So we should be strong mentally to just say, okay, now I have the current today. What I'm going to do today? Because if today I lose it, after 3 years, again I'm going to tell, oh, that time I was thinking about past and I lost my time. So that we are always stuck in the cycle. That's the cycle of this ignorance cycle, basically. They're conditioned by the ignorance, and that will not allow you to move further. You'll not be able to step out from there. So you have to be strong in the mind. And the strength of the mind comes again with the spiritual connection. So especially it's easy for inferior people who feels inferior to take shelter of Krishna, because they feel helpless. They feel, I don't have that much ability as such and such person who's performing well at work. I have only this much capacity. So Krishna, you help me. So once we take help from Krishna, he has everything. He knows everything, right? So imagine how much mercy you can get. At least he will help you to do your current day properly. You'll be peaceful that, okay, today I will use it productively. That much he can help you. And of course, he can change your karma also, everything, depending on how much you, surrender everything if needed. But at least you will not lose that today. So it all happens with the mind control, essentially. And the mind control, the effective way of mind control in Bhakti Yoga is chanting the names of Krishna, which I already shared during our meeting. So every day, keep up, whoever it is, that person has to keep up the minimum chanting, and don't do it mechanically, do it with full heart. Do it as if this is the only option for me now. If it's casually means we don't care. Okay, I'll walking, I chant. But when this is the only medicine I have for me to control my mind, otherwise I'm going to be into mode of ignorance, I'll be lazy and everything. With that eagerness you chant, slowly, it will elevate. That's what I was mentioned, right? I was also in mode of passion and everything, but I was also little elevated. Now I'm little bit more peaceful. I can chant nicely, peacefully. There's not so many pullings, like I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. I don't have much, everything is centralized only, it's very clear, this thing. So that cleansing will happen. The process is very effective. Process, it doesn't matter what is the background. I also came from very sinful background, everything, but still the reactions can be burnt like anything. The bhakti has so much power. It can burn the reactions and it can lead you slowly to a happy life, that you may even desire to wish. At some point, after some time, you feel actually, I don't have any qualifications and I'm so fallen. How will I even desire to be with Krishna? But still, Krishna is merciful. I don't have my qualification, but his mercy is great. Putana came poisoning her breast to kill him. But Krishna took the mood of mother, which Putana wants to give, and he took the milk, he took the life of, sucked the life of out of her, and he gave her a position as a motherly nurse in the spiritual world. So that is our Krishna. He takes the essence. Even though she came to kill him, he thinks, oh, she came to nurture me like a mother. I'm going to give her a position of mother. So that is Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Gachama. This verse is given in Bhagavatam. Who else should we take shelter other than this merciful Krishna, who can take whatever little things we do? Actually we cannot offer anything to him. He has everything. All we are offering is a token things that, okay, I want to love you, I want to serve you. With that, with the intention of service, but he can give you so much. He can help you rise above all of this and eventually, take you to his abode. But this takes time because, even though the fan is working, let's say, even if we switch off the button, let's say fan of the cycle of karma, you switch off the power button, still it takes time for the fan to stop. Similarly, just because now we are hearing doesn't mean immediately our life will change. First of all, we need to follow the process, right? It takes time to come to 16 rounds. It's a gradual process. So gradually we can take that, and we have help. Somebody is there to help us, guide us. So once we come there, it takes time. Still, there will be karma to deal with little bit, and then slowly, slowly we'll be set to free, that all these things don't bother us anymore. Okay. Okay, Sujata, it's okay, little bit.
Yes, 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 Pranati, thank you. And I wanted to tell my experience as well. So yeah, last time we met and you gave us this Sri Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra, and I started practicing daily, and I'm seeing many positive changes in my life as well. Yeah, many things. Whatever I was expecting. Those positive changes in my family, in my routine, and in my work work environment, everything has changed a lot positively. And yeah, that is true. When we surrender to Sri Krishna, and that positive changes will definitely come. That is true, that I already experienced, but still daily I do Hare Krishna, Hare Rama mantra and all, but still sometimes I get this kind of questions, like for example, in current society, many people has that superiority complex, and they look down other people, right? That time, how do we deal with them? How do we answer? I mean, how to handle those kind of situations?
So
Usually when we go out and when we socialize, when we meet people outside, one or the other day we face that kind of situation. So that time, how do we handle?
yeah, the thing is, we get our love from somewhere else. See, we are not seeking for approval, acceptance from people. See, when we are connected to Krishna and when we receive love from him, we'll be so protected and loved, or even love from devotees, right? Who don't behave like this, who always encourage us. We need to create that positive, like-minded circle who encourage us. So we get love from there, we get strength from there, so that when we face the world, where people are mean, we don't get disturbed, overly disturbed. We understand that it's their problem. See, they are acting like this, it's not good for them, we feel sorry for them. At the same time, we don't get disturbed. You respond normally, like whatever is needed, and move on. You don't get overly disturbed as like, oh, she told like this, that means I'm gone. No, you have your own identity, you have your loved ones, your husband, your children. You get strength from them, like our parents, how they raised us, their love, how much that builds us the self-confidence. So based on all this, when we face the world, then slowly it should not disturb us. So basically the essence is, you need to be strong in your relationship with Krishna, and also build relationship with devotees more and more. Then positive minded, then gradually when you face the world, it doesn't disturb you anymore. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Sujata. Okay, then I think nobody else has anything, I guess. So we'll end here. We'll meet you next week. Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening, and thank you for participating. Audience is the one which makes the session successful. and you're all so eager to receive. I'm very grateful to be sharing whatever I know little bit in your journey. So together we can make progress successful. Thank you, Hare Krishna.